Hello, I'm Jonathan from Boom Instructor Training, and on this video we will be exploring the idea of whether you should teach for free instead of applying for a trainee license. And in order to do this, you will currently need to have a car. So the current car that you have, the car that you own, is suitable for the purpose of driving lessons. Now, if you don't currently own a car that is suitable for the purpose of providing driving lessons, and if the only way forward for you is to lease a car, then the option of teaching for free simply isn't available for you. In this case, if this is the case for you and you need to lease a car, then you will have to apply for a trainee license and join a driving school and then lease a car with that driving school in order to move forwards. And then the money that you get for driving lessons will then go towards the car payments that you are making for leasing the car. However, if your current car that you own is a suitable car for teaching pupils in, then the option of teaching for free is available for you. The door is open to teach for free should you step through that door and should you teach for free. Well, I will give an answer to that question towards the end of this video, and it's the answer really is maybe, and it depends on a number of factors, and we will explore these factors towards the end of the video. But what I do want to do before that is explain to you firstly the advantages of teaching for free, and there are a number of advantages, and then I'll explain to you how to achieve teaching for free, and then when you understand that, we'll then explore whether you should do this, whether this is right for you. And it's important that you have all of the information so you can then make an informed decision whether you want to apply for a training license, or hey, maybe it might be a better option for you to avoid the training license altogether and teach for free. So let's talk about the advantages of not using a trainee license and instead teaching for free. So firstly, it will be less expensive. You will save money. And the reason for this is because you won't have to spend as much money on training fees, on Part 3 training. In fact, there's no minimum requirement of number of hours of training that you need. You do not have to have 40 hours training with an ADI. And then you don't have to have an extra 20 hours training before your first attempt of the Part 3 test. And of course, if you're not going to apply for a trainee license, then you don't have to pay the fee for applying for a trainee license, so you're saving money there. Nor will you be paying a weekly franchise fee to a driving school because you're teaching for free, so there's no weekly franchise fee to pay. And of course, you're using your own car that you currently have, so you won't be paying out for an expensive lease to hire a car, so there's no car payments to pay out. And this means the overall cost to you will be significantly less compared to going down the road of using a trainee license. Now, also, there's no paperwork to send to DVSA. You will not have to send the ADI 21T Instructor Training Declaration Form to DVSA confirming that you've had 40 hours training with an ADI. This form is not relevant to you. You can just forget all about this particular form. In fact, you won't have to send any paperwork to DVSA. There is no requirement at all to show any evidence of training. And another advantage that you have, as I look at my list of advantages, is you won't have a 6-month time constraint. So unlike a trainee license where you just have a 6-month period, There's no time constraint if you teach for free, other than you have the full 2 years from the date of passing the Part 1 theory test. You have those full 2 years in order to qualify. So if you teach for free, you are in complete control over your own learning and your own development, and you will simply take the Part 3 test when you feel ready. So how do you teach for free and avoid using the trainee license? Well, of course, initially you need to learn how to teach pupils. And the easiest way to do that is to use my Part 3 video tutorials, which are available on my website. And these will show you how to teach pupils. I will explain and demonstrate how to teach pupils from beginner all the way through to test standard. You will learn all of the 17 competences, and you will learn how to pass the Part 3 test. They are very comprehensive, and you can self-learn and self-train by using these video tutorials. Then, because you are in control over your own learning, you may or may not want to have some in-car training. This is down to you. There's no requirement to do so, but you might want to do so. And you can find an ADI trainer in your local area, and you can have, well, as much or as little in-car training as you feel that you want to have. You might want 5 hours, 10 hours, 15, 20 hours in-car training on top of using the video tutorials that I previously mentioned. And this is entirely up to you. You can design your own training to suit your own requirements. And so if you feel that you want some in-car training also, then go for it. Find an ADI trainer, buy some in-car training, and enhance your ability by having some in-car training as well as using the video tutorials. So once you've gone through this process and you've learnt how to teach pupils, you may have had some in-car training as well, that's your choice. So you've gone through all of this learning and training, and you now understand how to teach pupils. It's then time to get some practice teaching pupils. This is the teaching for free bit, you know. Now, you already have your own car, we've established that, so you have your own car. So I would recommend that you get some dual controls fitted. Now, you don't have to, but I would suggest it's a good idea to do so, quite simply for road safety reasons. And on my website, there's a list of dual control suppliers and fitters. So if you go to my website, you'll be able to find somebody that you can buy dual controls from, and then somebody who can fit them into your car. And then, of course, you will need to get your car properly insured. Well, because you've got dual controls fitted, then you will need to go to a specialised insurance company who specialise in driving instructor insurance. Now, because your car's at this point modified, you have dual controls fitted, then in order to get your car insured, you must have passed your Part 2 test. So don't get the dual controls fitted until you've passed the Part 2 test. Providing you've passed the Part 2 test, you can get your dual controls fitted, and then you will be able to get your car insured for the purpose of teaching pupils, on the understanding that you are teaching for free. Because you don't have a trainee license, you've decided not to use the trainee license, you've got to teach for free. And then, of course, you'll need to get L plates fitted to the front and rear, get an extra interior mirror fitted on the passenger side of the car, and then you're ready to start practicing teaching pupils. So just ask around, family, friends, neighbours. You will easily find 2 or 3 willing learner drivers who will be absolutely delighted for you to teach them for free. You don't need to get lots and lots of practice. You just need to get sufficient practice before your first attempt of the Part 3 test. And I would recommend getting between 2 to 4 practice lessons per week over a 10 to 12 week period. And this will be sufficient practice for you to then take your first attempt of the Part 3 test. So let's say somewhere between 20 and 40 practice lessons before your first attempt of the Part 3 test. Now, when you start practicing teaching pupils and you're teaching for free, it is important at this point to have a mentor to guide you through this process. I can be your mentor. You could have a weekly or fortnightly 45-minute phone or video call with me, and we can discuss the lessons that you've been providing, and I can give you some feedback and some advice and some guidance to help your ability move forwards and help you stay on focus, stay on the right track, and get properly prepared for your Part 3 test. This won't work if you're just trying to do it entirely on your own. You will need a mentor whilst you're practicing teaching pupils. It could be me, or it could be a local ADI trainer in your area. Either way, you will need somebody there as a point of contact to give you some advice and guidance throughout this period of time where you're preparing for your Part 3 test. And you will book your Part 3 test and take your Part 3 test when you feel ready to do so. You are in control of this entire process. So now the important question, should you do this? And the answer is yes, providing the following applies. So you must be self-motivated. You're doing this yourself. You're taking control over your own learning, over your own development. So you must be a very self-motivated person in order to do this. You've got to be capable and comfortable with the idea of self-learning, because you will be using my video tutorials and learning how to teach people. So you're effectively, to a large extent, training yourself. As we said earlier, you may also choose to have some in-car training, but a big chunk of your learning will be self-learning. So you've got to be happy with this as an idea in terms of you learning how to teach pupils. You must have self-discipline, because you're going to have to set aside time to do all of this self-learning and self-training and self-development. So you've got to be very disciplined with your time and set aside 1 hour, 2 hours a day, or 1 or 2 hours a week, depending on what pace you want to do this at. But you've got to be disciplined with your time. In order to teach for free and do this effectively by yourself, you have got to be a very confident person. So you must have self-confidence and self-belief. And you have to embrace self-responsibility. After all, you are doing this by yourself and you can't blame anybody else. Your own success or your own failure is entirely on your shoulders. So you have to embrace self-responsibility. Ideally, you should have some previous customer-facing experience. So perhaps some jobs that you've done in the past, or maybe the current job that you have now is a customer-facing job, and you feel very comfortable and very confident at communicating face-to-face with customers. Now, ideally, and this would be a big advantage, with your past experience in life, ideally you have some previous teaching or training or mentoring experience. So perhaps either in your personal life with the hobbies that you have, or with your professional life with the jobs that you've had, you have helped train and develop other people's skills within previous professions or previous hobbies or pastimes, it could even be. So you do have some past experience helping other people develop their skills. If this is the case, this will be a big advantage for you. And you also need to have just naturally very good problem solving skills. After all, your job is to help learner drivers solve their driving problems. So that's a lot to think about, and if all of this describes you, then I would definitely recommend teaching for free, because in this case it would be a good fit for you. However, if you do not have any previous experience in customer facing jobs where you're directly talking face to face with customers, if you're perhaps not the most confident of people, and also if you haven't got any previous experience in terms of training or mentoring or teaching other people, then in this case I would suggest that perhaps teaching for free wouldn't be the best fit for you. In this case, I think it would be better for you to join a driving school and use the trainee license. So hopefully this video has given you food for thought, and hopefully the information on this video will help you to make up your own mind whether you want to teach for free or whether you want to join a driving school and use a trainee license. If you have found this video informative and helpful, then do let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Also, please like and subscribe, because this will encourage me to make more videos like this for you. And do remember, in the future when you are teaching pupils, just keep it simple and enjoy it.